Coming up on this episode of the Spiro podcast, how is this going to affect us? Is Listing Showcase like also then promoting their own photographers? Because we know Zillow is hiring and taking business in market. So how does this affect us?
Welcome to the Spiro podcast, managing your real estate photography and videography business. With your hosts, Todd Kivimaki and Craig Magrum.
Hi, and welcome to the Spiro podcast, managing your real estate photography and videography business. Spiro is a software platform designed to help you manage your day-to-day real estate media business and really help you grow and scale it as well. And we just want to thank you for watching and or listening to this Spiro podcast. It's a true privilege for us to be able to serve you and help you grow your business with just everyday business experience that we've gained over the years, the mistakes we've made, the victories we've had. We want to see you benefit from that as well. So thank you for joining us. I'm Craig Magrum, host of the podcast and an employee of Wow Video Tours as well. And typically you would hear and see the voice and face of our owner and co-host of the podcast, Todd Kivimaki. Unfortunately, not able to make it this week, but we did want to continue with some really good subject material that we teased a few weeks ago that we've heard back from you on, that you definitely want some information on this. So we have a special guest with us this week who has dug into this for our business, for Wow Video Tours. And that is the subject of the Listing Showcase by Showingtime, of course, owned by Zillow. So here to help us talk about that and kind of share what he's discovered for our company, for our business, is our Director of Sales and Marketing, Steve Musser. Steve, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Craig. I'm glad to be here.
All right. So how many years have you been with Wow now?
I'm going on 5 years later this coming summer, I believe. So it flies by.
Yeah, it really does. So for all of you watching, listening, Steve is one of my bosses, one of my managers. Does a great job serving us as business development specialists in really helping us succeed in the markets that we serve. I'm in the Toledo area, so Northwest Ohio and Southeast Michigan, and I just really appreciate Steve and what he does for us. If you have a sales department, having a good leader in that position to really support and encourage your sales team is just an invaluable resource. So publicly, I want to thank you, Steve. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for everything I do is for nothing without people like you going out and carrying it into the markets and everything else. So I love the team we have together, and everything just keeps getting better and better by the day.
It's a great culture, and I really appreciate it. I've worked for quite a few different companies and organizations, and I will say that I love the culture at Wow and Spiro. And yeah, everybody just works really well together. So, oh great. Well, let's dive into it. I teased it, and it's always the Z word that we all panic a little bit. Of course, Todd and I talked about this a while ago, but the topic of Zillow, and quite a few months back, there was the subject of Aereo selling to Zillow, and there was a lot of concern in the real estate media community over that move. And so we talked about that. Well, the newest thing that a lot of us are kind of concerned about, Steve, is this thing that we've heard called Listing Showcase. So do you mind kind of explaining what is Listing Showcase?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a word that's starting to spread around the community. You're probably dealing with some clients that are bringing it to you or asking questions about it and everything else. So what it is like Craig said, it falls under the Zillow ownership. And then under that umbrella, you have Showingtime, which agents have used and love for scheduling their showings and other, open houses, things like that for years. And then now a new service under Showingtime is Listing Showcase. And essentially what that is it offers agents to purchase the ability to showcase a listing on Zillow. And so they go in, they enter all the information for the listing, the media. So the media that's required for it is photography and the Zillow 3D tour and floor plan. So the photographer uploads that media, and then what happens on Zillow is it's a showcase listing at that point. And so what that is It gets premier placement in the search results. If you're looking at the map view, you'll even see, on the map view, the showcase listings are kind of identified with like a little sparkle on the map. So you kind of get a little bit of a highlight there as well. And then it does actually bring in the media to where it's a little bit more dynamic experience to where they have a slideshow at the top of the listing where it scrolls through the photos. And as a viewer on Zillow scrolls down, it shows room by room matching with the Zillow 3D tour, highlights a
Hmm.
few of the photos of the kitchen, of the living room, of the bedroom. And then you can click into the Zillow 3D tour and see that as well. Some other benefits that the agents get out of it is that premier placement I mentioned. They also get on each listing, there's actually a button. There's always been a button where it says contact an agent. Now there's a
Hmm.
second button where it actually has the agent's name and saying contact, John Doe as the agent, and they can connect directly with that listing agent. That was something
Okay.
that they didn't have the ability to do before. So that's a huge
Okay.
benefit for the agents.
So it's the listing agent that is now going to be featured on that second button. Is that correct?
Yes. Yep. It actually shows their name and the picture that they have uploaded into their Zillow profile. And so
Okay.
it is a shortcut directly to contact the agent, which could result in an increase in leads for the agents as well.
So the advantage to that is before the listing agent wasn't necessarily highlighted, correct?
Correct. Yeah. Every listing would show in the text who the listing agent was and the listing brokerage was. But this actually adds a completely separate button and kind of highlights it to where that anybody viewing that listing is just a click away from being able to contact directly with that listing agent. So you're not
Okay.
losing opportunities as an agent to, a random agent that's going to get that lead. You have the ability to get your own leads and hopefully drive more business to your company.
Right. So that's going to make sense for listing agents. They're going to love that.
Yeah, that's kind of the feedback we've gotten so far from the agents that we work with that are jumping into this new offering is they're doing it because it gives them increased exposure, of course. Highlights their listings on Zillow, so that's never, a bad thing. That's usually in some cases that's the first place that potential buyers are looking for their new home. So being able to
Hmm.
highlight that, is a no-brainer on that side. And then also just the increased leads with having that quick contact feature right on the listing.
Right. So this is something that real estate agents are going to pay extra for, correct?
Correct. Yes. So there's no public pricing available for this. Typically, what you
Of
do
course
is
not.
you contact as an agent, you contact Showtime or Listing Showcase for this feature, and then they'll get you more details as far as the cost and if, agreements or anything else that would go into play. So we don't get to see that side, of course, as
Hmm.
as media companies, but that is kind of the breakdown, and then they sign up for the service and they pay X dollars per listing to showcase their listings.
Okay. Okay. So let me cut to the obvious question that a lot of our viewers and listeners are going to be curious about. How is this going to affect us? Is listing showcase like also then promoting their own photographers? Because we know Zillow is hiring and taking business in markets. So how does this affect us?
Yeah, I know it's funny to talk about, anytime we bring up the Z word, as you said, some people shudder. And but the nice thing is, so this was, from what I understand, this was initially launched with the intention of using in-house photographers. And I think that became pretty evident, pretty clear, or pretty quickly from Zillow and Listing Showcase's side that two things: that one, that's a lot to keep up with and hire your own photographers and do all that, which we see every day in our business. That's
Mhm.
a lot to manage. But then
Sure.
also they ran into, I think, another roadblock with having they I think they underestimated the relationships that
Mm,
agents have with their media companies and their photographers.
yeah.
And so that's how it was brought to our attention first, is we had some great partners that we work with that said, "Hey, I want to do this. Can I do this with you?" And
Mm,
initially that was not the case, but they have opened it up now to where the agents can use their preferred media partner. So whether that's using Zillow directly or using, us as a company or any other company, they have that ability now.
yeah. I was talking with one of our clients up here in the Toledo area, who their main office is in another part of the state. And he's like, Craig, have you heard about this listing? I think it's called Showcase. He wasn't even sure totally what it was called, but said, our brokerage is going to be doing this like as an entire brokerage, at least in this other city to start, but it's going to get here eventually to our market. But they said they require like a certain camera that photographers have to use. Like, do you guys have that camera? And I'm like, I didn't even know what he was talking about initially. So he was really concerned. He came right to me to point to what you just said. The relationship that we have with our clients goes deep. And we've talked about this on the podcast countless times, how important that relationship is with your clients and being in touch with them, taking good care of them. You take good care of your clients, they're going to be loyal to you, and they're going to trust you and come to you. And just like, this customer of ours did up here in Toledo. So that I came to you and taught, we discovered very quickly, oh yeah, it's Listing Showcase. And yeah, the Zillow 3D tour does require, a certain type of 360 camera.
Yep.
And so in discovering all that, I was able to go back to him and say, hey, you know what? Yes, we have the needed equipment. We can shoot what you're going to need if you're going to participate in this. So yeah, all that to say, we want you to be aware of what Listing Showcase is and what you would need for it and things like that. So Steve, what else would you say in terms of the importance of relationship building with clients when questions like this come up?
Yeah, I mean, as Wild Video Tours, our number one core value is our clients are our number one priority, and we live that, and we breathe that every day. As far as every decision we make is does this benefit our clients? What can we do to help our clients? Our goal is if we help their business get bigger, then our business gets bigger because we're side by side.
Right.
And so,
yeah,
that's important. So when you have those relationships and you have those partnerships, the nice saying is that, something like this, Listing Showcase, you can look at it as an opportunity to collaborate versus something that's a competing force, and our clients can actually come to us and they know that we'll give them the best care possible as far as finding a solution that's going to push their business forward, and we can be a part of that along the way.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me ask you a potentially challenging question, but of course, with Listing Showcase being owned by Showingtime, which is owned by Zillow, I talked about at the beginning of the episode, Todd and I talked about Aereo and Zillow, and the concern around that whole transaction between Aereo and Zillow with real estate media companies was there was a lot of companies in Aereo, a lot of data in Aereo's system that now Zillow had access to, which didn't set well with a lot of real estate media companies. So at the top of everyone's mind, I'm guessing, is the question of data, access to data by Zillow because they own, Showcase and Showingtime, and as a result, Listing Showcase. So what are the types of things that a company should be looking into as they consider whether to offer the services needed, to help their realtors that are interested in Listing Showcase? What are the things that you dug into, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah. So what's nice about Listing Showcase is that the agent's making an independent decision as to whether they want to be part of that program. So they're determining what information they're sharing. They're determining, the agreement that's put in place and all of that information. So that's their decision. We're not here to direct their business and make their decisions for them. They review that. They decide if they're comfortable, with any partner that they do business with. Are they comfortable with the terms? And then they decide whether to move forward or not. So that was one thing that we got some clarity on through this process. The next step is our part. What is our part in this, and does it have any impact or potential impact on the agents and our business? And so with any partner, what we're looking at is, one, is anything that we're going to do, is anything that we are going to do going to affect the agent in some way? And if so, that's a discussion we need to have with the agent and make sure that we're both on the same page. And so that box was checked already because the agent's doing their part. Our part is solely really just to upload the media and make it available for them. So that
Okay.
was an easy decision on that side. Um, and then, from a business standpoint, we're always obviously looking to collaborate. If we can collaborate with other people and make the realtors better for it because they're getting something, even more, a better output at the end. That's a win-win on that side. Our business
Hmm.
standpoint is we're always looking out for our clients, of course. We always want to make sure that they're well taken care of from us and anybody that we're doing business with, but also, just looking at the our input into that, just to make sure that we're not entering into something that's going to hurt us at the end of the day.
Right.
And
Right.
so that's the big decision at that point. And I look at Listing Showcase as an opportunity. The agents are coming to us asking for it. If we were just to turn a cold shoulder and not embrace that, or at least look into it and see what that opportunity was, then we're potentially shuttering our clients, and turning them
Mm.
in a different direction. So like I said, it's not our decision on that side. If the agent's comfortable with doing that, then what the next step for us was, let's look into it, make sure there's nothing on our side that's going to be detrimental to our business or anything along those sides as well. But when it comes down to it, this is a pretty straightforward process. So as a media company, our job on this is to basically have the agent go in, they enter our information, we get an email, and we upload the media that they're requesting us to upload. So it's a win-win all the way around. We get to retain our clients. They get to use what they want to use as far as tools out there in the marketplace, and they still get the high quality media that we've always delivered. It's available to them.
Okay, so it sounds like really we're uploading the media for the agent that's participating in listing showcase and just taking care of that service for them. As the media company that's shooting the actual media that we're providing to our clients, is listing showcase asking us to agree to any terms or conditions that we should review?
Yeah. So when we go in and upload the media, there are a set of terms that we're agreeing to. And so just like any partnership, with any company, not just real estate media, but I just always recommend everybody read the terms that you're agreeing to, make sure you're comfortable with them. If anything's not clear, you have any questions, go back to the source, go back to listing time, ask those questions, get some clarity. And at the end of the day, it's completely your decision, whether you want to participate
Mhm.
or not. We saw the opportunity and we were comfortable with what was presented to us, so we wanted to move forward. But that would be the first step, is just make sure you understand, what you're agreeing to, make sure you are comfortable with it. And,
Mhm.
if so, move forward. If there's any questions, go back to the provider and get some clarity.
So when you say go back to the provider, does Listing Showcase have like a point person, like a salesperson that we as the media company can contact, like a personal contact that we can call?
So there's some general information available on their website as far as contact
Okay.
information. One thing I would recommend is, if you had any questions and you wanted to get in touch with somebody, the agent that you're working with that is requesting this, or that's already had a conversation with Showingtime and the showcase listing, they might have the contact information that they can loop you in on as well, to get a
Mm,
little bit more
okay.
information. So those are the two routes I would go, is, a little bit more general, go to the website. If not, go through the agent that you know is using this or has brought this to your attention, and see if they have a connection that they can put you in contact with.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah, because it's going back to that discussion with Aereo and Zillow. People's biggest concern was data security and privacy and protecting their own company's data and whatnot. So that I know that's going to be the question at the top of everyone's mind. So like Steve said, go into the terms and conditions that Listing Showcase is going to present to you as possibly participating in this program. And again, highlight the things that you have questions on, the things that maybe you're not quite comfortable with. And then you can, like Steve said, reach out to Listing Showcase and just have a direct conversation with somebody. I would say talk to them on the phone and then get it in writing. Is that fair? Get something in writing as well, clarification on any questions.
Yeah, I think that's a good general practice anytime you're dealing with any kind of agreement or contract or anything like
Yeah.
that. If there's anything that you're unclear on or you think that leaves some room, get some clarity on it, get a new agreement, put in place and make sure you have that in writing. But at the end of the day, in this situation specifically, the nice thing is the agent is doing most of that work. They're doing the
Mm,
agreement with Showing Time and Listing Showcase. They have everything kind of locked away on your side. The terms that you're going to be agreeing to is more relevant to the media, and so
hmm
just make sure you understand what it's saying. Make sure you're comfortable with it before you
hmm
go into any agreement, and that's just general advice with any agreement that you go
Right.
into.
Awesome. So we've looked at it and decided, hey, there's opportunity here for us to continue to serve our clients, and our clients are loyal to us, and they wanted to use us, not Zillow's photographers. So build on those relationships. We saw opportunity. So how can, for somebody that's utilizing the Spiro software, Steve, how can somebody build something that would address the needs of the agents that are participating in Listing Showcase?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's an important question just to make the process as seamless as possible. We're talking
Yeah.
about three different people involved now. You have listing showcase, you have the agent, and then you have us as the media provider. And so it's important for everybody to be on the same page. So the one requirement from listing showcase as far as media is that it requires the photography and it requires the Zillow 3D tour and the floor plan. And so that's
hmm
the kind of the one aspect that you want to make sure if an agent's wanting to use this and showcase their listings, you want to make sure that they're getting exactly what they need. The last thing you want is for them to have an order of photos only, and then they want to showcase it and you can't unless you go back out and shoot the Zillow 3D tour and all of that, kind of
hmm
ties in together. So the nice thing with Spiro is we're actually able to build those bundles. And so if we have a discussion
hmm
with an agent that is looking to use this frequently or use this on all or most of their listings, we can actually develop a bundle in the system that we make sure that it includes at least those two things, if not anything else that they're wanting to do on those listings as well. And then that way we
Right.
never have to worry about it. We know, at any given time, as long as they select that bundle, that if they want to showcase a listing, let's say a listing goes a little dormant, it's out there for 2 weeks without any kind of traction. They may come back, the agent may come back later and say, hey, now I want to showcase this listing. If you
Mm.
have that bundle in place and you just set that expectation with your realtors, then they know that if they choose that bundle, they'll always have the media ready and available to showcase that listing at any time.
Smart. Makes sense. Yeah. So opportunity there, at least from our viewpoint, you got to make the decision for your own company. Um, but yeah, again, go back to the terms and conditions and reach out to Listing Showcase directly. And like Steve said, the realtor that you're working with on this probably has the contact information of somebody that they're dealing with. You can just call them directly and ask those questions, and make sure that you're comfortable with the decision that you're making based on the answers that you're getting from Showing Time. So
Absolutely. And I would suggest look at the terms, before you even go that route as far as contacting anybody, because you
mm,
may breeze through those terms and there's nothing, if there's nothing that sticks out to you as a concern or a
mhm,
liability, a question, whatever the case would be, then it's a pretty clear path to move forward and go ahead and take advantage of that business that's coming your way.
yeah.
But if there are any questions, then I definitely turn around and just ask the questions that you need clarity on, so you have all the information you need to make a informed decision and that you're completely happy
Mm.
without any kind of concerns before jumping into that new product.
Yeah. Yeah. Good stuff. Our guest this week, Steve Musser. He is the director of sales and marketing for Wow Video Tours. Steve, thank you for this data. Appreciate that. Any final thoughts from you as somebody's maybe considering whether or not to work with their realtors on Listing Showcase?
Yeah, yeah. I think the biggest thing that I would say as a final thought is I know the Z word can throw some people off, but just keep in mind that you're going to have agents on both sides of that fence. You're going to
Yeah.
have some agents that don't want anything to do with something like that, and you're going to have
Yeah.
agents that embrace it to its full extent. And so
Right.
I wouldn't make any rash decisions could jeopardize some business coming into your company. So just make sure that, like I said, you're comfortable with it and everything else. But I wouldn't shy away from something just because it's a brand that you're uncomfortable with per se. You know, if your
Hmm.
agents are comfortable with it, then that's something that you should consider maybe adjusting your
Right.
stance on and just taking it, you know, case by case with it. When any opportunity like this comes up, just to review the
Yeah.
process, make sure you're happy with it, and it could be a good benefit to your business at the end of the day.
Yeah. It all goes back to relationships and being able to leverage opportunities that will continue to help them build their business. If you can show value, hey, I'm going to participate in this program because I want to continue to serve you and help you build your business, market your business, they're going to see that as a value add and why they're going to continue to work with you as their local photographer that they've built a relationship with and trust. So that's the decision we came to. Hopefully, that gives you some things to think about. Steve, thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I this was a fun process to go through and just kind of iron out, you know, any kind of wrinkles with this and develop our own process behind the scenes. And I love, you know, Spiro made it easy for us to do too. So that is
Yeah.
a win-win all around. And now our clients are happy. They have the products they want, and we're able to
Mhm.
provide them the media to keep going.
All right. Appreciate it. Our guest again, Steve Musser. Thank you. You've been on before. I'm sure we'll have you again, Steve.
Perfect. I look forward to it.
All right. So normally at the beginning of the podcast, we go over updates on Spiro. Obviously, with Todd not being here, we don't have the latest and greatest of those updates, but we will get back to those for you once he is back on the podcast. So keep looking forward to that. And just again, want to thank you for watching, for listening each and every week. You know, and hopefully this is bringing you value. If it did, be sure that you click the like button. If you think this might help somebody else in the industry that you know, feel free to hit that share button as well. And just thank you. We appreciate you guys. And hopefully we continue to help add information that's going to help you build your business. So in the meantime, be thankful for the blessings that you have and make sure you take a breath. Have a great week.
Thank you for joining us for the Spiro podcast, Managing Your Real Estate Photography and Videography Business. This is a production of Spiro and Wow Video Tours. You can find out more about Spiro's real estate media business management software at our website, spiro.media.